Hi everyone. So it's time to get started. Now in the last video, I don't know how many of you were there, whether you remember or not, but I'll just do a quick coverage of the core concepts, and then we will get into some practice. Okay. So all these sessions that we are doing, these are training sessions, and just to recap, right? We call this ultra learning. Right? Learning is the normal way of learning everyone does, and the way we learn, be it for school, be it in college, be it for competitive exams, I believe that that methodology of learning is very, very inefficient. I can actually take a challenge that the amount of time you spend, let us say, learning something in 4 hours, if you use the normal approach, somebody who uses ultra learning can learn the same amount and probably better, maybe in like half the time or less than half the time. Now the question is, what is ultra learning? So just a quick recap, and for people who are not there, these are the four techniques that we recommend. So this is the concept owl technique. Okay, we have trained you on one and two, and we'll be conducting more sessions. Today's session is primarily for, so we are keeping it simpler. So school students, most of you are school students, so you can follow it somewhat comfortably. We will be doing another advanced session for college students and for graduates who are writing the IAS exam, or people like that. But the point is, the techniques are exactly the same, whether it is for school students or for college students, or even for people like me, for people who are working or running companies. All of us, every one of us, needs to learn, and these are the four techniques. So let me now describe those techniques to you one by one. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so first technique is review the topic headings before reading the chapter. So what does this mean? So what this means is that, a lot of, let's see, if I give you a chapter from a book, what would most people do? Most people would start, open the chapter and start reading from the first. Just one second. I think there is some problem with the screen. There is some issue with the screen. Uh, Let me just see what the problem is. Once again, let me just check again. Just give me one second. There's some problem trying to sort it out. Hello, Nisha. Hello. What happened? I don't know. I'll try again and see if it solves the problem. The front screen is not going away. No, no, I've moved on. The slide, somehow it's stuck. I can't figure out why that is stuck. Uh, there's some problem with, if I do stop motion. Okay. Why is it stuck on the first slide? Very weird. These are things I don't like about this. This first slide is not going away. Okay, fine. I can't help you. You talk to. I'll talk to you later. Okay, so I think now this should fix the problem. Let's wait for a few seconds to just get confirmation. Okay, fine. So I think now everybody has confirmed that the screen is visible. Okay, let's get started. Uh, 1 second. There is. Okay, so there was a little bit of a problem. I think this is the problem with technology. You know, these days there is so much technology, and yet it is very unpredictable. So I'm actually waiting for you guys to become engineers and you build technology which will not break down like this. Right? Okay, so now let's anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's now go back. Our core requirement will be served in any case, so that's all right. Okay, so now I'll just recap what I was saying, which was that there are four techniques that we have talked about. Okay, the first technique is review the topic headings before reading the chapter, which means whenever you open a book, don't start reading from the first sentence and start going. Don't do that. Okay, so once again I'll be clear. Do not start reading from the first line and second line and then go through the textbook. Do not do that. Before you do that, read all the topic headings and then write down the topic headings in a notebook from your memory. Okay, so this is the step number 1, which I'm not discussing today. Step number 2 was review end of chapter questions. Even after this, uh, don't start reading the chapter yet. Go to the end of chapter questions and read the questions, and then try to answer that. Okay, and uh, and and you will not be able to answer all the questions, but it will help you remember. You'll be able to remember the questions, and what you're looking for. It will help you understand much better. And today the thing that we are going to discuss, so today's topic is going to be the step number 3, okay, which is taking notes with active recall, and I will show you how powerful this is. Okay, so today we'll combine 2 and 3, right? So let us now focus on the step number 2 and 3. So I'm going to send you an exercise. Okay, so I'll ask my colleague to send you a link. Please download the link. It's a PDF. So all of you will have to download the PDF, and then I will tell you what is to be done. Okay, so all of you download the PDF. Okay, we are sending you a link. Please download the file in that link. Okay, now once you download the link, it is a reading comprehension passage. Okay, now if you try to do this normally. By the way, the level is slightly higher than class 8th or 9th, so it's at approximately like class 10th, 11th kind of level. Um, so what I want you to do is, do not read the passage the way you would do normally. Okay, so what do you do? So if you look at the passage, it has got 1 2 3 4 5 and 6. There are 6 paragraphs. Okay, in the first column there are 4 paragraphs. Then the left column, right column, there are 2 paragraphs. But I do not. I want you to follow the same process that we have described, which is so there are no topic headings. So step number 1 is not relevant. Step number 2 is review end of chapter questions. Okay, once again, review end of chapter questions. So what I want you to do is, before you start reading the paragraph, go and read all the questions and the answer options, and think about what might be the right answer option. You don't know the answer, don't worry about it, but just read and think for a few seconds, then read the next question. And after you have read, by the way, also what you can do is, there are 10 questions, so it will take a lot of time, so don't do all 10. Let us just do the first 5 questions in the objective type. I repeat, let us do the first 5 questions. I'll type it here also. First 5 objective type questions. We will not do all 10. And then finally at the bottom, after the 10 questions, there are 3 subjective type questions. Okay, I want you to read those also. Then I'll write, read the last 3 subjective type questions. Okay, so we will only do the first 5 objective and the last 3 subjective. Read them. Okay, read them, take your time. See, I'll remind you what is the technique. The technique is, we are not reading first. We are first looking at the questions, so that now we know, our brain knows what is the information that we are looking for. And then we will start reading the paragraph. And first you read the questions. Okay, before you read the paragraph, I am going to give you the second technique. Okay, so first read all the questions, and I repeat, do not start reading the paragraph. Okay, before you read the paragraph, I will tell you what is to be done. So first, read the first 5 objective type questions. Take your time. There is no rush. Okay, we will do only one exercise, but I want to do it properly. I want to do it nicely. Okay. First 5 objective type, and then the last 3 subjective type questions. Please read them. Go through the answer options also. Think about it, right? So spend a few seconds on each of the answer options. Objective, okay, Gauri has finished objective. Good. Gauri, now please read the subjective, last 3 subjective type questions also. All of you do that. Okay, so Shant, you have a question on the GATE exam. So there it's a little different. So what we'll do is, we'll discuss separately. Okay, so those are a little more advanced. Okay, objective is finished. So for the GATE exam and UPSC, we'll be doing a more advanced session, and we will look at how to modify these techniques for those kind of situations. Okay. Now, if you have read the subjective type questions, I can then tell you how to read the paragraph. If you have done the subjective type questions, I'll tell you how to read the paragraph. And that is the most powerful technique. Any book that you're reading, you should use this technique. You will learn at least, I would say, at least 3 to 5 times better. I can guarantee. Have you all read the first 5 objective questions? Okay, so now Now let's now once you have done the objective and subjective questions, now carefully listen to how you should read. And this is the same technique I have, same technique that you have to apply whether you are doing it in school or college or GMAT or GRE or civil services, any reading comprehension for that matter, anything which you read, the technique has to be this. So you are going to read each paragraph, but normally what happens is you will go and read all the 5 or 6 paragraph one after the other and then try to answer. That is wrong. Okay, do not do that. What you have to do is this: read each paragraph, okay, and have a pen and paper notebook with you, and then summarize each paragraph in 1 or 2 sentences. I'll do 1 or 2 paragraphs and show it to you. Okay. So the first paragraph is: winter is cold in some places. Many plants do not grow during winter. Some plants die. Snow and ice may cover the ground. It can be hard for animals to find food during winter. Animals get through this time in many ways. So just we'll write in 1 or 2 sentences. So we can write: in winters, both plants and animals find it hard to survive. That's it. Okay. And then second thing is, when reading, because you have already read the questions, if you think that you have found the answer to a question, you can go and answer it right now. Then we'll go to the second paragraph. Second paragraph is: birds and butterflies can fly. Many of them do not stick around for the winter. They leave. They go to a place with nice weather, then they come home in the then they come home in the spring. We call this migration. Migrating is a good way to avoid the cold. So we can just summarize that birds and butterflies, they migrate to escape cold. So this is summary of second paragraph. So like that, read each paragraph and then summarize in 1 or 2 sentences in a notebook. And most important thing, okay, this is the key. You should not be, you have to, when you're taking notes, you have to write it from your memory. I repeat, you have to write the notes from your understanding. You should not be looking at the paragraph or passage and then copying it down. That is why we call it notes using active recall. You have to actively recall. You have to try to remember what you read and then write the notes. Now, if you forget what happens, no problem. Go and read the paragraph again. But then when you write the note, when you write that 1 or 2 or 3 line notes, at that point you should do it from your memory. Okay. Now go and do all the six or whatever paragraphs you have. Read each of them and then write the summary. And after each paragraph, if you feel that you have found the answer to a question below, you can go and answer the question also. I'll give you a couple of minutes to do the exercise. There is no rush. Slowly take your time. Okay. There is no rush. But I want you to pick up this technique. How do you write 1 or 2 or 3 line summary of each paragraph after reading? Go ahead and do it. I'll give you a few minutes. I'll give you a couple of minutes. Please read. Tinko, can you come here? No, it's okay. I've muted myself. Okay, very good. Now, uh, have you also written one or 2 line summaries of all the paragraphs? Have you all done that? Okay, good. Now, now that you have, most of you have finished it, right? Now just see, if you had not, now if somebody asks you like, what was the, let's say you have to now revise it. How will you revise it? Normally what happens is when you are reading a, okay, uh, okay, sorry, I had muted myself, my apologies. Okay, so now I hope you can hear me now. So so now you saw that you first looked at the answer option. Second, you summarized the paragraph in one or two sentences. Now let us say now you want to revise it. Okay, after after let us say maybe 1 or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. This is what you do, right? Now when you revise, what do? You start reading all the you start reading the chapter from beginning to end. Now that is not required. Now the one line note that you have, okay, if you can just go and quickly read through that, it will refresh your mind very, very quickly. Okay, so these notes, they are not great notes, they are not detailed notes, but for a quick revision they can help you. Okay, and more importantly, when you wrote them, now you are able to remember it much better. Now I'll give you one more paragraph. Okay, which again, there we will not do the questions, we will just practice this. Okay, what will you practice? We will not even go to the end of chapter questions, we will skip that. We will just we will read each paragraph and take 1 or 2 line notes. Okay, so now we are sending you one more link. Now download this paragraph, and here what we will do is, we are not going to do the answer. We are not going to do the answers. We just want to practice how to read a paragraph and take notes. Okay. So what will you do? You will now read each paragraph and then take notes in 1 or 2 sentences. This is about game of chess. So what do you have to do? Read each paragraph and then summarize in 1 or 2 sentences. I'll repeat, read each paragraph and summarize it in 1 or 2 sentences using your understanding. In case you feel like you have forgotten, or you read the paragraph, but what did you read? Just read, I don't remember, no problem. Go and read it again and then write down the notes. Okay, now as you can see, if you now do one thing, once you have done this, okay, then forget the main paragraph. Now let us say you wanted to revise. Okay, all you have to do is just do one thing, quickly read through your notes from beginning to end. Okay, on this chess, on the passage on chess, read your notes just once from start to finish. Read it, and you will see that with that in your mind, the whole paragraph is sort of like, in no time you have revised the whole thing. Just do it, and then tell me how you found it. just read your notes from beginning to end. Okay, and you'll see that now the whole paragraph sort of, the whole passage sort of makes sense. Now you have a decent idea as to what you read. Right? Now this is the way to take notes, and whenever you are studying, this is how you should be always studying. Never just sit and read a chapter without pen and paper, and never take notes even in school. Okay, I'll just give you some time. Just read through it and then confirm. Then I'll give you the final. I'll give you the final point. Good. So now when you read your notes, do you realize like how quickly you are able to, everything becomes fresh in your memory, right? Very, very quickly, isn't it? Right? Yeah. So now that is how it works. So now what I want you to do is, whether you're preparing for any exam, doesn't matter. After every paragraph that you read, you have to summarize it and write notes. And it doesn't have to be very detailed notes. It can be very short notes. There are some more advanced techniques that I'll teach later for people who are writing civil service other exams. But for school, this technique is sufficient. Okay. Um, now one last technique which was on maths and science, maths and physics problem solving, that I'll do in the next session. So this is it for now, right? The important thing is, now that you know the technique, you have to follow. And one thing which will happen sometimes is you may just feel a little lazy, like, okay, why, I'll just read it, I'll do it later. That is not right. You always have to immediately have to take notes. Second thing is, in school also, one lot of mistakes that students and even teachers make is, in school when teachers write on the board, students will just copy it from the board, which is a waste of time. Okay, so that is something which I would like to tell you, that whenever teachers are writing on the board, don't copy from the board word by word. First, just look at the board, understand, and then write it based on your understanding. You just do this, I can tell you, you will learn 5 times faster, guaranteed. Okay, very short session. Just we took only half an hour. That's all we took, right? But you have to now inculcate this technique every single day. I'll keep reminding whenever we talk in all our classes. I'll keep reminding you, because this is a matter of, it's a question of practice. Just knowing is not enough. We have to practice it and do again and again. Okay. So that's about it, children. So thanks very much for joining the session, and whatever feedback you have, please share your feedback. Right? And okay, by the way, for all of you who are from UPSC or preparing for those exams, we'll be doing, the concepts are the same, exactly the same, but you need to like practice it a lot more. So we'll do a more advanced session where we'll take more difficult paragraphs and more difficult compositions, and we'll discuss those. Okay. So thank you for joining, and yeah, all of you stay safe, and I'll see you soon. Thanks a lot. Yeah, I know that the teachers, they scold and all, but I don't think that is not a that's not a very, very good thing. But I understand that's how teachers are. But this is the effective way of doing it. Okay. Thank you. Bye bye. Stay safe. Dinner time.